Good morning, YouTube. We're standing outside 1730 Rockingham Road in Davenport, Iowa, home of Convict Customs. I'm gonna go inside and see what's going on. This is a showroom here at Convict Customs. Some of the bikes that they've built and some that they're storing, some that they've worked on. The bike here in front of you is Ironhead Sportster that Mike and the boys built for a competition down in Texas. We'll learn more about that later in another video, I'm sure. So what are we doing here today, Paul?
Today we are going to be installing some Cicada 6.5s, some Cicada 6x9s, Ground Zero 10s, Nagy rings for the 10s, Sound Digital amp, Sound Digital DSP for the 10s, Cicada amps for the Cicada speakers, all off the factory deck.
Cool.
Scott. We did not do the paint work or the engine work. He had that done elsewhere, and now it's crunch time, so we got to get it done before Daytona. So.
Oh.
That's when I had a divorce, and Paul had been divorced here about a year. So I decided to give it a try, do it full time. So put in my resignation at Deere, and then basically told Paul if he wanted to jump in with both feet too, I'd give him half the company, and so he quit his day job. And we rented the old fire station. Here we are, 8 years later. Still broke. Still broke.
But it's not always about the money either. I mean,
No, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I don't think in the 8 or 9 years we've been doing this full time, I don't think there's a single day that I woke up and not wanted to go to work. And I felt like shit a few days, but
yeah, it gets pretty frustrating sometimes.
it does. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's, like now, this pandemic bullshit and the mail and whatever else is going on in the world, parts that I'm supposed to be getting next day or 2-3 weeks out. It gets a little frustrating when you got $35,000 worth of jobs sitting on lifts for a month that you can't get paid out.
Right.
But the bills don't stop.
Right.
So, yeah,
Well, at least the work's still coming in the door.
yeah.
You know.
Well, it doesn't do you any good if you can't.
Right. Right.
That's what gets frustrating. You got. I mean, luckily it's winter and nobody's up my ass. They don't want their bike right this minute. But I mean, the customer's still wondering why we haven't touched their bike yet. It's been sitting here for a month. Why haven't they gotten to it yet? Or why has it been sitting on their lift stagnant for a month and a half? That, as a business owner, that you feel like in the back of your mind that makes you feel like a piece of shit. That the customer is probably wondering that.
Right.
And I don't like that. But there's nothing I can do about it. Waiting for a valve, engine valve now for 3.5 months. Customer's bike's been here since May. Which that's not my problem. We've been chasing an issue with it from whoever built it before, but to drag something out that long.
Yeah, that's a frustrating part too, because you were just fixing somebody else's problem from when that bike down there was painted.
Yep. So.
I've personally seen you guys fix a lot of that stuff. It's already been to one shop, and you have to redo everything somebody else did.
It's pretty common. I mean, I'm not saying we're king of the king. I mean, I'm sure there's been some shops that have fixed some of the stuff that we've done in the early years. I mean, that's part of it. You grow, you learn, you learn new methods, you get new products. Paul's stuff, is by the time he puts a speaker in a bike, it's outdated.
Right.
So, but you learn new ways to route wires, and you never really know if the way you're doing it is the proper way. I mean, everybody has their own theory. Harley said we weren't routing our power and ground wires right, that they weren't venting properly. That's what the lead mechanic at the local dealership told us. I've never known the power and ground wire to vent.
That's a new one on me too.
But again, I don't really think there's a right and wrong way to do it. It's just our way and other shops' ways. So.
Right.
But yeah, the fairing down there, they didn't take the time to look up the part. No, it's a $5.54 part, but instead of replacing it, they just zip tied the vent closed. Customer will never know. that's not really the right way to do it, but
No, no.
it's what it is. That's why we're here.
So talk to me while you're working.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Well, how long you been working here at Convict now,
2
Nate?
years, buddy.
2 years?
2 years.
I didn't think it was that long.
Yes, sir.
And little history about how you came about to being here.
Well, I've known Mike for a long time. He used to put tires on my motorcycle, and he used to work on vintage Kawasaki motorcycles and everything, and quit working there and wanted to get into Harleys. Called Mikey and came down and talked to him on a Friday, started working on Monday. And worked out pretty well. I didn't really know too much about it when I started working here, except for basics. And then now, not an expert by any means, but I know quite a bit. Mike's a wealth of knowledge. Picking his brain and Tut knows a bunch of crap. So
Right, right.
just ask questions and listen. He'll tell you.
Well, you do a little bit of everything around here. You know.
Yeah. Because I used to work at a body shop when I was younger, so I know. I never sprayed color. I always sprayed primer, prep work, bumpy, and all that stuff. So I do have a history in that. But so kind of works pretty well because Paul does his thing. Mike and I can build anything, and then all the little shit needs done I can do. Works out pretty well. And then working on cars, always been a fan.
Well, you actually went to school to be a teacher.
Yep.
And then-
Elementary education, buddy. And figured out that was a bunch of politics and bullshit. Made it a year.
And it's also a bunch of people, too.
Yeah, but they're little people. They're pretty cool. They're little people, so.
Well, you get along well with the kids. That's so cool to see, especially little Cam.
Yeah, she's my buddy. Mike always makes fun of me. She runs me, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
Yeah. Went to college, had no idea what I was gonna do. And had a nephew, 3 at the time, and we hung out all the time. He was my buddy. And Morris College in Dubuque have a great teaching program. So I took a class, liked it, and graduated and got a job in Davenport, and made it a year. Just couldn't take it. Bullshit. Every time you turn around, it's other bullshit.
Right.
And that kid showing up with no coat on for like 3 days in a row and is like Sub-Zero, and his mom has a fur coat and rims on her car and smoking weed when she pulls out. I lost my stuff. And
That was enough.
that was it. That was it. And I was bored. I mean, I love little kids. I love playing with them, and being a gym teacher is fucking awesome. But I was bored. I like building stuff. I like taking shit apart, figuring out how it works, putting it back together.
Yeah, there's a lot of that around here. That's the way I grew up too. So.
Yep, I had my first car when I was 12. Had to build it. Was a 73 Trans Am in boxes. My uncle's like, if you can build it, you can have it. I was like, okay. I mean, it didn't make me do it by myself, but I did a lot of it by myself.
Sure.
So I kind of figured out the basics right there. And then he had a shop in Grand Mound, Iowa, building classic cars. And every summer I spent up there, every day, working on cars, and fell in love with it. Then got older and got my first motorcycle. And I'm like, wow, these are way more fun than cars.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. about 18 motorcycles later.
Hi, my name is Greg, and I'm the voice behind the camera here on Bleepin' Bike. I'd like to take a minute to give a big shout out to Mike and Paul and Nate here at Convict Customs. They've given me a great opportunity here to video them doing their job, basically. I've known Mike and Paul for a while now, and they've done some work for me. I've bought parts from them, that kind of thing, and they got to know my story, and got to talking about doing YouTube, and they're like, do it, just do it. And so that's what I'm doing. I hope to show you guys what goes on day to day here. A couple of really good guys, and Nate too, he's a super good guy, and they do good work here. Some of the bikes that they roll out of here are just phenomenal. The sound systems that Paul puts in the bikes, phenomenal. They go to different shows around the country and with their sound systems, with their bikes, and hopefully, this kind of things will really pan out for them, and doing a YouTube thing will benefit not just me, but them. I guess that's all I have to say. Real important, like, share, and subscribe. That's what YouTube's all about, like, share, and subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers to start making money at this thing with 4,000 viewed hours. So my goal is to put out a video per week, and we're going to keep track of some of the builds that Mike and Paul and Nate have going here, whether it's engine builds or sound systems or insurance jobs where they're putting bikes back together after they've been wrecked. And then we'll let you know when you're going to go up at shows, as far as bike shows or sound events or whatever. And we'll follow along with them as they do those kind of things. So until next time, like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.